Hey guys, welcome back. So it's time to start on the FZ1 here. Of course, like I mentioned in the previous video, if you caught that, we're going to be pulling the engine to fix the transmission because fourth gear's gone. So I'm going to try to bring you along for the whole disassembly of the bike and explain what I'm doing as we go. Some of the footage probably won't be the best as a result, but I'll do my best to get what I can. Anyway, so let's get to it. Okay, so the first step, of course, is removing the seat. It's always fun when you do this. Sometimes you find some interesting things here under the seat. This is the first time, looks like we got a fork seal and a screwdriver. This is the, and some kind of things here. I'm really not sure what they are. Some covers. Some kind of bulb, all kinds of good stuff in there. So one of the first things I like to do when I'm working on this kind of stuff is to go ahead and remove the battery. Which of course is not held down with anything. No real surprise there though. So on this tank, there's this one big bolt here that acts as a hinge on the back. And then if you come to the front here, there's another bolt right down in there that's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. It's right there. So first we'll go ahead and remove that bolt. That bolt is going to be a 10 millimeter, then the one back here in the back is an Allen. Looks like that's going to be a 5 millimeter on the back. I'm not going to take this one all the way out, I'm just going to loosen it up. That way the tank will pivot. There we go, now we can get to the petcock and the various fuel senders and things like that. The fuel one, you'll need a pair of pliers to get off. So you can see right here. And this tank still has quite a bit of gas in it, so hopefully it doesn't own me. Sometimes the hoses are a little sticky and you gotta kind of wiggle them to start getting them going. And here we go. So ease the tank back in and go ahead and pull that back bolt out. One thing I like to do is put most of the bolts back where I got them from. It makes things just go a whole lot easier when you go to put the bike back together. Okay, so the first order of business is going to be getting this Airbox out of the way, and then the carbs and some of the coils and other things that are in here. That way once we get those out of the way, we can get to the engine a lot better, and it just makes it a lot easier. So there's two screws in the front of the Airbox here that I'm taking out first. Go ahead and move this fuel line out of the way too. And there's two more on the back here under this kind of rubber cover. Just kind of presses off. I usually like to go ahead and get vent hoses out of the way when I can, just so they don't come back and annoy me later. The air filter actually looks pretty good. Seems someone took care of some parts of this bike. Up next, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fuel pump out of the way so I don't have to worry about it.
So
This here, that is not the correct fuel line. You can see where it's pinched right there. This may have been causing some of the carburation issues with this bike. So I'm just going to continue removing hoses. So you get the airbox off. It's that main fuel line down in here. Not sure if you guys can see it or not. Probably not. Let's get some of these out of the way. Give me a little more room to work here. But definitely not much. I apologize for the speed here, guys. I didn't bother looking any of this up, so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go along. On most of these modern carbureted bikes, it's not designed that you can ever actually take the airbox all the way out. It's just designed so you can get it behind the carburetors and get those out. So that'll be the next step. Of course, on these bikes, you got the throttle position sensor, remember, so don't forget that. And then we have the choke and the throttles, of course. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Probably go ahead and get this harness out of the way while we're at it. When you're working on an older bike, be sure to be careful getting these apart. If it's not coming, there's probably a reason. So right now we're just getting the coil wires out of the way. Again, just to have a little more room to work in here. I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the radiator and just get that nonsense out of the way. Again, just to give me a little more room to work. So the radiator has 2 bolts and 3 pipes on it. There's one big one at the top on the other side. There's a clip for the fan. And then there's a big pipe here, then there's a small one on the other side. I've already disconnected those on the other side. So in theory, the radiator should come free. Looks like there's a small overflow thing I missed over there. Alright. One tip when you're removing the radiator that I do just to keep it from being such a mess is once I drain the coolant, I go ahead and flush it with water. It just really makes it a nicer process. So the 2 and 3 coil on these bikes is located right here. This front one has a nut, so be careful not to lose that. I haven't disconnected these yet. It's a real pain to get down in here on these. for the center tube. Cables I'm working on getting out now are the active exhaust cables. This will just make it easier getting the getting the rest of this out. Next, I'm gonna remove these inner plates just to, again, give myself a little more room to work. So we have some custom bolts here. Not only did they use an Allen, they used a standard. And we're thinking this was custom here. Good Lord. Let's see what we got on the other side.